Hi, I'm Dan Whittaker. I'm here today to analyse the golf swing of Kevin Streelman, the winner of last week's tournament. Kevin had a great week, finished very high up there in all of the stats. I've just been having a look at his overall stats at the moment for the year, and we noticed that his driving accuracy percentage is ranked number 13 on tour, but he's only ranked number 95 in terms of driving distance. He has an action which I will be talking through in a moment. I see that very much fits the woods. I just think that it will sometimes affect the way that he's able to trap the golf ball consistently with the irons. Now what we'll see is during the takeaway here for Kevin, he tends to have a very slightly steep shoulder turn in this very first move away here, but he does do a great job of everything turning away together, so that right hip starts to move out the way brilliantly, and we notice that the distance between the butt of the club and his thigh here narrows. Now due to this narrowing, this is showing that the body's moving away as a singular unit, but obviously we're only seeing a two-dimensional image here of the 3D golf swing, so if that narrows, what it tends to mean is that the distance between the hands and the body is retained and stayed exactly the same distance. If it expands or stays the same distance, technically the arms are getting further away. So when you're looking at this from down the line, just as a tip for a lot of you guys looking at it, you want to see the hands go inwards, because this is going to mean that you are making a one-piece move away. What this also does, as you can see here, that the cup in the left wrist is still held. Now from here, here's where Kevin's move tends to vary a bit from a few others. We see that the right arm stays quite high and on top of the left at this point. Now this will have a tendency to want to shut the face down a little bit for him. Okay, we can see that the upper left arm here against the side of the chest is pretty tight. Okay, so this is fairly connected, and this is what's then making it difficult for him to open the face fully on the plane. So we see now that the club doesn't bisect the forearm, it goes up above it, and the club face is actually fairly closed down at this point relative to the arc. So as we continue to take him to the top of the backswing here, we can see that the club's a little steep going through the top part of the shoulder, and as a byproduct of all of this, the arms go upwards, the face is now open, but the arms and the body aren't working on the same level as one another. The shoulder angle is over here, and the arms are definitely just a little bit steeper than the shoulder plane. So this is going to have to shallow out on the way down for the arms and the body to come through the ball together. So what we then tend to see is that the club drops, okay, but the arms do a great job of staying in front of him. This for me is one of the reasons he's a very good driver of the golf ball, in that he keeps his arms in front of his body all the time, but I believe that his compression with his irons isn't so great because his strike angle is a little bit shallow here. You see he's not taking that much divot, he's a little bit shallow in the approach here, and he gets quite flippy with the hands. Well, the flippiness with the hands will be in an effort to generate some speed, because when your arms have gone up above the shoulder like they have in the backswing here for Kevin, he's got to wait for them to come back down before he can pour on maximum speed into the golf ball. So he has to wait for the arms to come down, so the body speed is slightly compromised, so he gets as much speed as he can using the arms and the hands. That's why we see a lot of crossover here, as the body tends to stall out a touch. We see the club exit around him very nicely here, and then he continues to move through towards the finish. But we do notice that his downswing hasn't got as much pivot speed as perhaps a lot of other players out there, which is probably what suggests why, even though he's a big guy, he's losing a little bit of yardage. The arms aren't matching the shoulder plane enough at the top, and on the way down the arms are coming down too much, creating a little bit of flip through the golf ball right here. Now we then have a look at a swing of him here using a longer iron, and then we're going to show you a hybrid in just a moment. And we notice that on the way down, okay, from this steep arm position here, we notice exactly the same here. The right arm is very much on top of the left, so the club goes up, gets a little across the line at the top, which is something I don't particularly like, because ideally you want the golf club to be pointing to an extension of the base of the playing line, so it wants to be over here. And we can see that Kevin's is a little bit across the line at the top currently. So what we'll then see is as he starts down now, the arms come down first a little bit more, okay, to stay back in front of him. We can see that because he is expanding his arms outwards, he has a right foot that explodes off the floor. So we can see how this right heel is coming off the ground quite aggressively in this area. So we watch how this right foot comes up. We can see that the heel works up a lot, and there isn't that much roll in the right foot. Well, when you have to throw your arms out of the ball to square the golf club, you have to have a foot action that matches it. So if he had a foot action that was more similar to someone like a Matteo Manassero or Ben Hogan, he wouldn't be able to use this release because he'd be just putting the club straight into the ground behind the ball. So the footwork is matching the release type that he's got, where the arms are slinging and the right foot's exploding up onto its toe. We take a look at this here with the rescue club, and we'll notice the same thing. We can see here how quickly that's gone up on its toe, and we can see how aggressively those arms are firing away from his body. Now, like I say, this is something we don't often see in a lot of the guys who have got a more passive release of the golf club, where the arms and the body are beautifully synced to one another through the ball. What we tend to see with these guys is a right foot that is rolling more, so we can see the difference in that footwork here. Okay, so we can see that Matteo's footwork is rolling a lot more, and you can see here how his club is matching his body. Whereas what we can see here with Kevin is that the club's slinging and his arms are getting further away from him, which shows that the body isn't moving. The body, the arms and the club aren't moving together as a singular unit, so it's definitely not a fully synced move. Now, I think that that's where he's losing some yardage, and in my eyes, to fix that, what he would look to try and achieve is, this would probably allow him to trap his irons better too, is he would change having this right hand as on top of the left as it is right here, and just add a little bit more forearm rotation to that backswing. So you can see here how that left arm now, as Matteo's at this point, has come away from the chest just a touch up in this area. It's definitely not as pinned tight in as Kevin's is. So Kevin will get the golf club working up steep, whereas Matteo's got the golf shaft pointing back towards the base of the playing line. It's quite a difference, but then what we see from there is that then carries on to the top where it ends up steep and then has to shallow, which then creates the problem of him having to look for some room, which is why the right foot pops up on his toe, and then he has to sling the arms in order to square the face. When Matteo's got the club in shape here, so on the way down, he can utilise the correct sequencing on the way down, and allow the arms, the body and the club to come through together with the right foot rolling correctly. We then take a look at Justin Rose as an example here with Kevin, and we have a look again at just this position here where the left arm's rotated a little and the right arm starting to flex down a touch. The right elbow's folding here with Justin Rose. The left arm is rotating in this manner, whereas Kevin's is in with the right hand on top in this direction, leaving the club face way outside the hands. Okay, so it means that the club has to work up through the shoulder, and whereas Justin's club is now working through the bottom part of the bicep, but his is more pointing back towards the golf ball, whereas Kevin's is pointing towards his feet. So it's once again, we'll just take it very quickly to the top, and we'll notice that Kevin gets across the line a little steep at the top, then has to shallow it a lot. See that Justin ends up in much better shape at the top with the club not across the line, and everything can come through together. So Kevin's has a lot more chase. Justin's, we'll see, works around with him more. Okay, so we notice the flip here, as you can see just in this frame here, how the butt of the club is in view there on that side of the body. Club head is in view on the other side, showing that the club head has aggressively passed the hands, and there's been a bit of flip in order to square the face and create some speed. Quickly have a look at this golf swing here with the driver from a slight ahead view, and what we'll see here is superb first move here. Now then what happens is, from there where that first move looks great, you can see that right hand staying on top of the left here, so the club face is a little bit shut down, then works the arms up a touch, shallows, and then has to back the head up. So we'll see the head back up to the guys behind him as the arms then sling away from him. Because we can see that because of his transition, the right elbow's stuck behind the side of the body right here. So here is the right elbow, here is the right hip. We can see that the right elbow is behind that side and creates a sling, and we can see how aggressively the toe is trying to shut and turn over in order to try and square the face. So what it's going to need in order to sort that out for me is the shallowing in the backswing will then allow him to make all the other changes on the way down that he could then start to incorporate. Quick look at his second shot coming in on the 18th hole here. We see that a golf swing that was very, very well connected. It was very short and synced, which I really like, and I think this is the best way to control the irons. Again though, we see that right arm very on top of the left there. Okay, it's nowhere near as much as it had been in the past, but it's still there. Okay, but we see the right foot still not rolling quite as much, and a bit chasey here with the hands. So it adds too many timing elements into his golf swing for him to be truly consistent week in, week out at the very top end. Otherwise, I think that there is some great stuff that's on the go in his golf swing here, some stuff that I like and would encourage all of my students to do. It's a common denominator of lots of great players. I do hope you've enjoyed my video and my analysis of Kevin. If you'd like to see any more stuff from me, please visit my website at www.danwhitakergolf.com, or follow me on Twitter at dwhitakergolf, or like me on Facebook on Dan Whittaker Golf. I hope you've enjoyed it. I look forward to speaking with you next week over next week's winner.